on Instagram and on Facebook, and it's Tuesday, and it's Let's Taco Bout It Tuesday. So I'm hoping you guys have a bunch of questions, and we're just gonna hang out and we're gonna chat. So, there's Sydney. Hello, darling. So nice to see you. So on Tuesdays, we dance a little and we take a few questions. If they're keto, if they're carnivore, if they're about fasting, heck, even if you want to ask about my hair. So nice to see you guys. Kim on Facebook, Debbie, darlings, it's so nice to see you. So today, I think we're going to start with chit-chatting a little bit about beginning keto. So I got a call from my girlfriend today, and her and I originally started doing keto together a year and a half ago, and she had a lot of issues, a lot of things going on in life, and it didn't pan out for her. She regained a bunch of weight from her bariatric surgery, kind of like I did, but a little bit more. And this morning, she called me, and let me turn off my dishwasher, because holy man, that's distracting. Okay, dishwasher off. Oh, this is my time. This is like my quiet time in the house. It's all my time. Isn't this one cute? This is a Reitman's. It's old. It's from when I worked there like a million years ago. I love fun, kitschy jewelry. So much fun. So today she phoned me, and we were really talking about restarting her journey. Now, not just her keto journey, she really needs to embark on a self-love journey. And we were talking about that today. Where do you start that? How do you get back on track with keto? And I think that's probably a good spot to start today until anybody has any questions. And it helped me, and it reminded me, because in the beginning, when you start keto, you think, oh God, this is going to be hard. There's so many rules. There's so many things I have to learn. There's so much that I need to know. It's too much. It's too complicated. It's too hard. And I kind of giggled, because once you've been doing it for a while, you forget why you even thought it was going to be hard. So her first complaints to me, we were talking, I don't really want to call it complaints, because it wasn't a complaining talk. We were just talking through her things and getting it out there. And we had begun speaking about self-love. And her answer to me was, I don't love myself because of my weight. I don't love myself because of my weight, because I put on so much weight. I don't love myself because I'm fat. And I said, okay, so this I want you to think about, because it doesn't have anything to do with if you're 150 pounds or if you're 350 pounds. Loving yourself is not dependent upon your size. So you can lose all the weight in the world, but at the end of that, you're going to be in the exact same position where you're thinner, but you still don't love yourself. So let's do it. Let's start it together. I think her and I are going to start doing a series of lives, so that we can talk about this on the regular, and so that we can really honestly start a journey together, and you guys can see from step one. Because it is so easy to say, love yourself. Love yourself. I love myself. I love myself. But it's something else to actually go through the process, to go through the work, to learn how we love ourselves. So I think that is as an important part of weight loss journey as anything that you put inside of your mouth. Because if you come into a weight loss journey thinking, when I lose weight, then I will love myself. Hey, Jimmy Moore's on Instagram. Hello, Jimmy. If you go into any way that you run your life, if it's a diet, if it's, if you're going on a health journey, if you are going on a self-love journey, if you go in with the mindset that when I lose weight, then life will be good, I want you to know that's not why your life is shitty. I love you, but my life wasn't bad because I was fat. It had nothing to do with the size of clothes I wear. It had nothing to do with, how much extra weight I was carrying around. Being happy about your life is about accepting yourself, good, bad, otherwise, all your good parts, all your bad parts. And you know what? I discovered that I cannot learn to love who I am now and continue to hate who I used to be. Because guess what? We're the same people. Like, there's not two of me. There's not, the old, fat, miserable, sick girl that I used to be, and now this awesome, wonderful Dori that I am now. We're the same people. I'm the same person I was when I was 290 pounds. So learning to love yourself, it doesn't have to do with your size. It really doesn't. And when I was talking to my girlfriend today, we were talking about setting boundaries, what kind of things we're willing to accept. Because her and I are very similar. And you guys have had this talk briefly with me, with Wendy. And we were talking about allowing people to treat you poorly. And I lived a lifetime of allowing people to treat me poorly. I never set my own boundary and said, hey, it's not okay to talk to me like that. And I think for a lot of us, that's step one. Step one in loving ourselves is not allowing people to talk to us in a disrespectful way that we wouldn't talk to other people. And it is okay just to say to somebody, hey, it's not all right to talk to me like that. I appreciate your opinion. I love to hear your feedback. Please give it to me in a positive manner. Because how we allow people to talk to us, guess what? That also forms your own self-talk. So, if every time, your ex or an old friend, or maybe it's your best friend, makes a joke and says, oh, aha, you're having a second serving, or don't you think you should lose a little weight? Every time we let somebody talk to us like that, it becomes part of our self-talk. And then later we'll repeat that over and over. And sadly, it's not the one time somebody says one means something to us that really damages us. It's the 100,000 times we repeat it in our head. Like if you walked by somebody in the bar and they said, wow, her butt looks fat in those jeans. You know what? Yeah, it was a rude thing. Stranger probably shouldn't say that. But it's not the one time they said it to you walking by them. It's the every single time you put on those jeans and you hear in the back of your head, oh, my butt looks fat in these jeans. My butt looks fat in these jeans. So we start loving ourselves by one, setting a boundary and allowing people to know how it's okay to talk to us. And I promise it's not mean, it's not rude, it's not disrespectful to just say to somebody, I love you, but it is not okay to talk to me like that. And I had to do it a lot with my son when he was little, because kids get really persnickety and snotty sometimes. And sometimes I would have to say to him, whoa, 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 you don't talk to mommy like that. When you want to come back and you want to talk to me with your nice boy words, then you are more than welcome to come and tell me all of your feelings, because I love your feelings and I want to hear them. But until you want to talk to me nice, my ears are off. And maybe as an adult, we need to take that stance with some people and just say, you know what, I love your feedback. It's very, very helpful to me. But until you can present it to me in a positive way, I'm not really that open to your feedback right now. And that's okay. It is okay to set your own boundary and say, you know what, I'm not having that in my life. I'm not hanging out with people who talk to me like that. I'm not hanging out with people who treat me like that, right? So let's take a quick peek and see. We've got a few comments. Oh, Taco Tuesday. Do I have a taco recipe? Of course I do. Look at my back pocket. I've always got a taco recipe in there. So before we leave, I'll share with you guys my favorite taco recipe before we leave today, because it is Taco Tuesday. Definitely. Oh, yes. Okay. Brenda would like to talk about our lady cycle and how that is off kilter. So I'm going to ask you to kind of elaborate on that a little bit for me, Brenda, and tell me, is this something that has been since you've started keto? Has it leveled out? I know in my personal experience with people that I speak to, usually a ketogenic diet will really, really level that out. Like, I have some friends who went 6 whole months without a period and started keto, and within 2 weeks, that was rolling again. So I'm just kind of curious what your specific issue with that is, Brenda. Because yes, it can. Like, man, our stuff gets wonky. And especially as we get older, you know, if you're in your 40s and not in your 20s, this stuff gets a little, shall we say, interesting. Things get interesting. Okay, how did I track food when I first started keto? Okay, so when I first started keto, I didn't track. When I first started keto, I actually didn't really know what keto was. I was kind of like you guys. I saw one video and I thought, oh, okay, well, that sort of makes sense to me. That sounds like good food. It sounds like, you know, what I should be eating. That makes sense. And I knew what most of us know, and that is keto is low carb, right? Not really the same thing, but I knew low carb. So I hit the internet and I started searching low carb vegetables, low carb fruit, low carb recipes, and I started that way. Now, until I joined a few Facebook groups, which again, I didn't know existed, a girlfriend of mine added me to a couple of groups. I had no idea. I was doing everything wrong. I wasn't tracking my food. I wasn't adding the extra fat. It was brutal. Like, if you guys wonder why I say I lost like 0 pounds for the first 6 months, it's that. Like, I was doing everything you could possibly imagine wrong. Wrong. Like, it was so bad. I'll have to tell you guys some of the things one time. I think we'll do a video that was just about, that's not keto, but I thought it was. And I want to talk to you guys one time about that, because there was a lot of conflicting things I found in research. You know, I would look up, is this keto? Is that keto? One blog would say it is, one recipe says it's not. And I spent a lot of time being really, really confused. Now, when I did start tracking my food, the reason why I did is because I realized I had to have the more fat. I had been doing keto already for, like I said, about six or 8 months. And someone suggested that if I wanted to have a little bit of success, that maybe I should start tracking my food. So the first thing I did is I went to calculate my macros and see how much I should be eating. So I went to Ruled.me, RULED.me. That's my favorite site for that. And I went to their macros calculator. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a couple secrets about the macros calculator. It guesstimates, and it gives you an estimate based on some information you give it. So based on your age, your height, your weight, your body mass index, and your activity level, and how much weight you would like to lose, it spits out an approximation of what you should eat. Now, for me, I'm in my 40s. I had 20 pounds to lose. It said, you need to eat 1,600 calories a day, Dori. And I went, oh dear God, I can't eat that. Like 1,600 calories a day, I will die. Like, my teeny weeny bitty little stomach can never fit that much food. So I kind of went about it backwards, and this is what I did. I picked a food tracker. Now, again, I didn't know what I was looking for, and everybody has, you know, what tracker they love. I put in Google Easy Tracker, and it brought me something called Stupid Simple Keto. STUPIDSIMPLE Keto. And it's got a red pig, I think, on it, on the app. So I read the information and I was like, okay, that one sounds good. So I uploaded the app, and again, at the first, I was doing everything wrong. I didn't understand how the tracker worked. I didn't know how to put my food in there properly. I didn't realize you adjust the little servings by sliding the bacon on the bottom. So in the beginning, everything I was entering was full servings, even though I wasn't eating full serving, because I didn't know how to do part servings. So I will say invest a little time in figuring out how your tracker works. So by week 2, I figured out how the tracker was working. I went back in and changed all my data from the first week. And what I did was I started tracking how much I can eat comfortably. Now, I want to be very clear about this. I did not overeat. I did not undereat. I did not limit my calories. All I did was I tracked everything I did eat, keeping in mind my fat, protein, and carbohydrate percentages. So I did that for 2 months. Now, at the end of 2 months, I was able to sit down and look at all of the data that I collected. So I knew then how much I eat a day, how much of that is fat, how much of that is protein, how much of that is carbohydrate. So from there, what I did is and this is what I encourage you guys all to do. Now, once you get a handle on tracking your food, here's the best part. This is when you get to figure out your own macros. So when I looked at my data, I knew that for me, whatever. I knew that for me, because of my bariatric surgery, I don't process protein all that well. So it was hard for me to eat a higher volume of protein. So I looked at my tracker and I slightly lowered my protein goal because I wasn't even coming close to hitting that anyways. Like, there was no way I wasn't getting anywhere close to 20% protein. I looked at how much protein I was eating, and lo and behold, I was eating 14% protein. So I adjusted that in my tracker and I went, okay, if I know I eat 14% protein, let's look and see what that does to my numbers. So when I adjusted my protein from 20% to 14%, the tracker auto adjusted for me and slightly raised my carbs and my fats to compensate for the lower amount of protein. This is how I calculated my personal macros. So for me, I eat 80% fat, 14% protein, 6% carb. Now, 6 sounds like a higher amount of carb than 5%. It does, but it's not, because I only eat 9 to 950 calories a day. So my 6% carb works out to 12 to 13 carbs a day. So well below 20 net carbs or 50 total carbs. So for me, that's how I figured out what works for me. And the reason why I did it that way is because there wasn't any information out there for me. Your macros tracker gives you an average. So it doesn't take into account, if you're a large eater, if you're a small eater, if you've had a bariatric surgery, if you've had your gallbladder out. It doesn't take any of these things into count when it figures out how much you should be eating. So I think I did what almost everybody does who's had a bariatric surgery and wants to eat keto. I kind of went out there and I searched for all the information I could find, and there wasn't any. There wasn't any that talked about my macros, what would work better for me, what would work better in my body. So I decided I would just figure it out for myself because I wanted to know that level for me. How much fat should I eat? How much protein? And the best way to figure it out is just to track everything you eat, track your moods, track how you feel, and set your own. And I don't want to be all like, yay, just do your own. But at the same point, once you get used to what you're eating and your body adjusts to keto, you're fat adapted, you will know. You will know. If you're eating too much protein, your body will know. If you're eating too much vegetable, too much carb, your body will let you know. And the only way that I can help you guys learn how to do it by yourself is to kind of explain to you how I did it. I've explained to a few people how I figured out my macros, and they either react one of two ways. They're like, oh my God, Dori, you're a genius. That is how everyone should do that. Or I encountered one keto Nazi who was like, oh, you are gonna kill people. You can't just do it your way because you want to do it your way. You ain't no doctor. You ain't no scientist. You can't just figure out what you want for your own self, for your own body. You don't have enough knowledge to figure that out. And I was like, but I did. I did figure it out, and nobody else was able to help me. So there are some situations that, you know what, we're just going to have to buckle down and do the research and figure out our own bodies and see what works. Because what works for, Nancy, Joe, Cindy down the block isn't necessarily going to work for you. So-and-so up the street did carnivore and lost 40 pounds. Now I want a carnivore. Well, carnivore might not work for your body. They might be a more meat-based person. I know for me, God, carnivore would be the death of me. I swear, the death of me. Okay, so let's see. Did I eat 3 meals a day when I first started? I did, actually. I did. And you know what? I don't really anymore. And that I think was lesson number 1 that I had to learn about myself, my body, and my ketogenic journey, is that I had to let go of the eating schedule. So my whole life, everybody always said to me, you must eat breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, Dori. If you don't eat breakfast, you might die. I'm gonna put that out there and say, you might die if you don't eat breakfast. So when I first started, I forced myself to have breakfast. I wasn't really hungry. I didn't really want breakfast, but I was like, well, I'm going to be healthy now. Breakfast is the first meal of the day. Let's go. And I made myself sick. I did, because I am not a breakfast eater. So what I learned is that when I fed my body when it wasn't hungry, it made me sick. So the first thing I did was get rid of everybody else's schedule. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. And if I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. And if that doesn't work with anybody else's schedule be damned. I'm going to eat when I want to eat. So now what I do is I intermittent fast every day. Now it sounds all big and exciting and maybe even scary, but all it means is that I wait until the afternoon to eat. That's it. Like, I have my last meal, which is, I call a meal, but it's a snack, usually 2 tablespoons of sour cream with sweetener, a couple nuts, a little coconut. Sometimes I'll have a little sugar-free ice cream, maybe a little bit of chia seed pudding. Sometimes I'll just have a handful of nuts and a pickle. But because of my teeny-weeny stomach, I do eat right before bed. So I'll have something to eat. Usually 10 o'clock at night is my last that I'll eat something. And I get up for the day around 7 in the morning. I will have my bulletproof coffee. And I usually don't have my first actual meal of the day. Right now it's 2:30 in the afternoon and I've not eaten yet. I probably will in the next hour. It's usually between 1 and 3 p.m. that I eat my first meal. And that is generally just a small snack. So 6 slices of cucumber and 6 pepperoni chips and a little bit of dip. Or, you know, a couple veggies. I'll have a half a dozen small shrimp, just something small snack between 1 and 4 p.m. Then we will have my large meal is usually between 7 and 8 p.m. That's our dinner time at our house. I slightly pushed that back. I won't lie. Dinner used to be at 6. Now dinner is closer to 8. We eat our large dinner. And for me, I say large dinner, but you guys have seen my portions. The other day I had a pork chop and 2 tablespoons of veggies and a little bit of salad. That for me, that's the bulk of my food. That is the largest meal I eat throughout the day. And I would say it's probably smaller than most people's lunch. So I will eat that around 8 o'clock and then I will again have my small snack. So technically, I guess I kind of eat 1 meal and 2 snacks because I wouldn't really qualify the amount that I eat morning and evening as an actual legitimate meal, but it is a meal in the sense that I'm breaking my fast. I am elevating my insulin, my blood sugar levels because I'm eating something. So in that sense, I guess it's a meal, but really I do 1 meal a day and 2 snacks. I guess I'm OMAD, sort of, almost, kind of, not really. Sort of, kind of, not really. Yeah, and see, and I know that 950 calories a day is scary to you guys, and that's not you. That is not you. You don't have to limit to 950 calories. That is just as much as I can physically consume and not hurt myself. If I try to eat more food than that, I will injure myself. It is very, very painful to overeat when you've had a bariatric surgery. I know a lot of people say it's really easy. You can stretch out your stomach by overeating, but I give it to those people. They're dedicated because, man, it hurts, and it hurts me a lot when I overeat. So I do not do this, overeating. I do not do. Okay, yeah. Nanette says she thinks she's where I was, and she's doing absolutely everything wrong. So let's maybe talk about that a little bit, Nanette, and I will tell you some of the things I was doing wrong. Okay, number 1 thing I was doing wrong is because I just thought keto was low carb, I didn't realize that I should be eliminating by ingredients. So I was eating a lot of low carb things that were low carb but not ketogenic. Now this is the difference. Something that is low carb is going to have likely more fiber in it so that it balances out the amount of carbohydrate in it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't have ingredients we can't eat. So for example, low carb tortillas. They're a great example. They're a low carb dish. They have the exact same amount gram carbs per serving as a fathead dough. The difference is the first ingredient is wheat, or rice flour, or corn flour, or one of the other ingredients that we should be eliminating. I even was super smooth. I bought things like spinach pasta, and I was like, oh my God, look how healthy I am. I'm totally healthy. I'm eating spinach pasta. I totally rock. Just saying. Just put it out there, toot my own horn a little. And then what I realized is that spinach pasta isn't actually made out of spinach. It's made out of spinach starch. So it wasn't actually any better for me. And here's the real funny, it was worse for me. Like when I looked at the carbs on the bag, I was like, oh wow, that is not healthy, Dori. You are not healthy at all. I am taking back that pat on the back. Give that back. That one's going in my pocket for next week. You didn't earn that pat on the back. So I did a lot of things. That was number one. Number two, okay, this one was a fun one because, man, I got my face ripped off in a couple of groups for this one. I swear to God, somewhere when I was doing my beginning research, and I know I saw it somewhere, one day I'll find it again. You don't know, I'll find it. I saw somewhere, who knows where, Dori did a lot of research, a lot of different places, but I swear to God, I saw somewhere that said coconut palm sugar was good. So on my beginning, like I'm going hunting for all my keto ingredients, that was on the list. And it wasn't easy. I live in a small town. It's an hour drive to the city. I hunted that. Like it took me probably 2 weeks to figure out where I could buy it. I bought it. I was so proud of myself. I was like, oh my God, I am so healthy right now. Like, I don't know if you could feel like the healthy glow coming off me, but I totally rock, just saying. I read the bag. It looks really cool. It says right on the bag, there's only 4 grams of sugar per tablespoon, as opposed to 16 grams of sugar per tablespoon in white sugar. So I was like, oh my God, I'm totally a rock star. Do you see how I'm a rock star like this? Ugh, I don't even know. Like, I'm so awesome. And I went into the keto group and I posted, oh, look at what I found. Look at what I found. I rock. I rock. And they were like, how stupid are you? And I was like, pardon now? Stupid am I? No. I think you misunderstood. Awesome. Awesome. Not stupid. And they were like, can you not see right on the bag where it has like the big old word that says sugar? It's still sugar. And I was like, but no, it's coconut palm sugar. The healthy kind of sugar. Maybe you don't know about this new fancy healthy sugar. And I will say that for the $20 bag of super healthy coconut palm sugar I bought, my family ate the whole bag because I was like, oh. But I thought I was doing good. It said it was organic. It said it was healthy. It said right on the bag, organic and healthy. And they never lie about any of those labels on your things, like ever. If you see something like on the front of a package, you can almost always trust that, right? So I didn't know those things either. Like, I just didn't know. I knew nothing about labels. I knew nothing about food. I had never been a healthy person in my life. Everything I ate came out of a box or out of a can. That was all I knew. I knew convenience food. I knew easy food. I knew how to make dinner in 20 minutes. And that was it. I knew nothing about what was actual healthy food. I had no idea what was in what I was eating. You should have seen me the very first time I realized I needed to read labels. Because I was like, there ain't nothing on there that I need. And that's like on the other side of the can from the instructions. Just saying. Like, Just saying. I don't think I ever flipped over a can and looked at a can or a box or any of the things that I was eating. I'd been keto for quite a while before I was like, oh, I should be like, oh, I guess I should then, oh, okay, so there's stuff on there for me then. And then I had to learn how to read labels because, again, I had no idea what information even mattered on a label. I'm going to grab out a can just because it's funny because this can has been sitting in my cupboard for a year and a half. We don't make this stuff anymore. We don't really eat it anymore. But I have a few cans just hanging around because I don't want to waste food, and I think I'll give them to the food bank. I'll give them to the food bank. But when I looked at it, I was really, really shocked and blown away. So what it gives you for a serving of a can of soup is a half of a can, like a half of a cup per serving. So first of all, I want to ask you, how many times have you ever had a half of a cup of soup? I mean, I might eat a half of a cup of soup now, but let's be honest, this is one single adult serving. Before I had my surgery, I don't think I ever made a can of soup and didn't eat that whole thing. So what they're showing you is one serving is actually 4 servings in this can. So 4 times the amounts I'm going to read you. So it doesn't have a lot of fat. I'm not shocked. Ain't got no fat. Nah, nobody seems to care about that. It only has 1.5 grams of fat. So not a lot of fat. We could add the extra fat. That's okay. It has 720 milligrams of salt per serving. So times that by 4. What is that? Like 2,800 milligrams of salt? And I bet it's not the good pink salt neither, just saying. And then it has 17 grams of carbohydrate. So times that by 4 again. So what's that? I don't math in my head. What is 17, 24, 34? Oh, look at this. It's working. 68. Ah! Look at how the math in my head worked. Oh my God, I'm so awesome. 4 times 17 is 68, just saying. I did that the wrong way, adding it up in my head. But so 68 grams of carbs in just this one can of soup. Now, I'm going to ask you guys this question too. Did you ever eat your soup without crackers? Because I think I put a whole entire sleeve of crackers in my big old bowl of soup too. So, if you think about how many carbs are in a sleeve of crackers and the 68 grams of carbs that are in this can of soup, this is how I used to eat every day. This is all I used to eat, right? Like, you never had it without so much crackers your spoon could stand up in your... If my soup spoon does not stand up in my soup, that does not have enough crackers. I have gotten used to soup without crackers, though. I will say, I've gotten used to soup without crackers. And I don't actually even miss the crackers. I think the extra fat is better than the crackers were. So this is also one of the things that I was doing wrong. When I first started doing keto, I used these in a lot of my recipes. Because you know what? All of my recipes used to involve these things. I never used to make anything from scratch. So say, for example, I was making a keto spaghetti sauce. A keto spaghetti sauce would have my pound of ground beef. It would have a can of stewed tomatoes. It would have a can of pre-made pasta sauce. And then I would add a can of tomato soup. And then add my seasonings, right? And that would be that. And everything I ate was this. And that I didn't stop right away because I didn't know right away how much easier it was. Now, it changed for me the very first fall. I actually only just bought my very first 2 cans of tomatoes, I think last month. So what I did is I went to my favorite produce market and they had cases of tomatoes on sale for $10 a case. I bought 2 cases of tomatoes. I blanched them, which just means you pop them in boiling water till the skin starts to split. You peel the skins off of them and you freeze them just like that. So I froze up 2 cases of tomatoes for the winter, and then when you take them out and use them, you just chop them up from frozen and use them like you would use a canned tomato. So this fall was the first time that I didn't. Canned soups were not a staple in my house this year. canned tomatoes, canned tomatoes are okay as long as they don't have extra added sugar. Salsas are usually okay as long as they don't have added extra sugar. But these are kind of some of the things that I do to save money as well. When you think about it, I spent $20 on tomatoes, and we had frozen tomatoes for the entire winter. And I think I bought late September, maybe early September, and we only just ran out of tomatoes in June. So $20 worth of tomatoes lasted my family of 4 how many months? So that you can definitely save. Oh, nice. Kristen said that she wants for you guys to catch our live with Robin today, but that's tomorrow. I think that's tomorrow. I'll have to double check with Robin, unless we're doing one in her group. I know she wanted to do one in her group too. But we do normally do Wednesdays with Robin. Wednesdays at 5 p.m. So tomorrow at 5 p.m., we're going to chit-chat with Robin Davis of Keto for Life. And let me take a look at what we're talking about, because we had just talked about that the other day. And I can tell you guys, if I look at her message, what we're going to chat about. I have so many conversations. I can never remember what it is that I'm talking about next, because that's Dori. And that's just how smooth I am. But you know what? You too can be smooth like Dori. I'm just putting that out there. Because you know what? I might not be smooth, but I'm so fun. That's so fun. Okay, so let's see what we are going to talk about. Oh, yes. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, so we're going to kind of have the talk we're having right now. We are going to talk about our first few weeks of keto, our first couple of months, and all of the things that we were doing wrong. Because Robin, like myself, did not lose any weight for the first 6 months. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and how you find your inspiration outside of weight loss. Because to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know why I kept doing it when I didn't lose weight. I felt better. I liked the food. I was having fun. I was certainly not losing any weight. Now, if anybody said to me, oh, Dori, here, do this really awesome diet. It's going to be a lot of fun, but you're not going to lose any weight. I'd be like, well, that's stupid. Why would I do that? But I did that. I did that for 6 months until I actually started losing weight. And then I was like, yay, I'm so excited. Yay, I get to lose weight. Look at me. Look at me. I finally get to lose weight. And it did. It took a long time, and my scale didn't move frequently. Like my first drop, I lost 10 pounds like that. It was like, boom. The first time my scale moved, it was 10 pounds. And then it was another 3 months, 4 months before my scale moved by 5 pounds. And then it was another 6 months and my scale moved by 4 pounds. And then another 3 or 4 months. I did not lose weight every single month. Oh dear God, I did not lose weight every single month. I would cease to exist if I had lost weight every month, though. If we think about that, I've been doing keto for 18 months. If I had lost 5 pounds a month, I wouldn't exist now. So we're all good. Oh, and Candy says she's definitely learning about the experimenting and the process. She's still trying to get her family to accept / believe / understand that breads, pastas, and grains are high in sugar. Now, I'm going to tell you this one, Candy. My favorite video about that I ever came across is Butter Makes Your Pants Fall Off by Butter Bob. Have them watch that one, because I'll tell you what, that video changed my life. Because I already knew, at that point I'd been doing keto for quite a while. I knew it worked for me. I knew I liked it, but I did not understand the science of why it worked for me. I knew that limiting my carbohydrates really helped me, but I did not understand why it helped me until I watched the Butter Bob video. And what he explains is that if you store your weight here, if you store belly fat, which was me all the way, my whole life, I had thin legs, I had thin arms, everything is here. And what he explains is that if you store weight in your belly, your problem is carbohydrates. End of story, end of the day. Some people can process them and it works for their body awesome. And some people store everything in their stomach. If this is your issue, then carbohydrates are your issue. So have them watch that video. It's amazing. And honestly, it will change their lives. Like, I don't know how anybody could argue with Butter Bob, because Butter Bob, and he's freaking amazing. Just Just saying. He does not answer me on Instagram, but one day if he does, maybe we'll get to chat with Butter Bob, because I absolutely adore him. I can't lie. He is so amazing. Oh, Cherry says that Crystal Light is her nemesis. And you know what? That's another thing I was doing wrong in the beginning. Man, I was drinking me a hell of a lot of Crystal Light. Because Crystal Light is diet drink. And Crystal Light is good for you. And Crystal Light, awesome. Hello, Crystal Light? It lights up my life. But I realized that the sweetener in Crystal Light was not awesome. So what I have been... Oh, and I don't even have one here that I can show you guys. Dang it. I buy, it's called Stir. S-T-U-R. It's Stir brand. And that one is sweetened with stevia leaf instead of dextrose or sucralose. I actually have one of the other brands. These ones I don't drink myself because these are not the good sweetener. But again, when I first started keto, I looked at the labels and look at what I see. Oh, look. 0 carbohydrates. 0 sugar. So I was like, oh, yay. It has no carbohydrates and it has no sugar. I can totally have this. I can eat it all day long. And I was drinking a lot of these. And then I was like, oh, yes, ingredients matter too. Great. Awesome. So then when I read on the ingredients, because all it says on it is that it has no sugar. And then when I looked at the actual ingredients, this one is sweetened with sucralose and aspartame. Yay. Now, again, everybody kind of has their own take on sweeteners. And I won't lie, guys. I am not the science girl. I will tell you about how things taste all day long. I can tell you about how they work in recipes all day long. The science of what sweetener will spike your blood sugars more or less, not my department. That's something for Ask Nurse Cindy or Dr. Ken, definitely. But what I can tell you is that sweeteners are a huge debate. Some people say sucralose is good. Some people say sucralose is bad. I think everybody pretty much agrees that aspartame is bad, but not everybody. Some people say it's okay. You know, some people say monk fruit blend is good. Etherol is good. Xylitol is good. What I will say is test a small amount of them and see what works for you. Every recipe is different. They taste different. They have a different texture. Every blend is slightly different. For me, I went to the Bulk Barn, which if you guys are in the States, you probably don't have a Bulk Barn. And I tried just a small amount of each of their bulk sweeteners. So I was able to get an etherol blend, a monk fruit blend, a stevia blend, and a xylitol. And I just tried them out a little bit to see which I worked. Oh, yay! Ask Nurse Cindy said that Keto Connect did a great video where they tested different sweeteners and then tested their blood fructose and their ketones. So that's amazing. Go to Keto Connect and check out their YouTube because yes, they have really, really good information a lot of times. I met them at KetoCon. It was really awesome and it was a really lot of fun. And I displayed my super, super smoothness. I was on live and I was like, oh my God, it's Maja and Matt and I love her. I love her. And I got back to the hotel that night and everybody was like, oh, Dori, you're so cute. It's mega. And I was like, are you sure? Are you sure though? And they were like, oh yes, Dori. Oh, Dori, you're so silly. It's mega. And I was like, but I don't know because I called her Maja to her face like 3 times, yo. And she did not correct me. So the next day, because Dori, I'm smooth and I'm on live. I'm literally like going live. And I'm like, oh, hey guys, I just had to stop you and ask you something. So when I got back to my hotel last night, all my people were laughing and saying that I pronounced your name wrong. And she looks at me and she goes, you did. And I was like, oh, well, and of course, because I'm Dori and I would open my mouth and this kind of smoothness would come out. I was like, oh, are you sure? Because, oh my God, Dori, are you sure? Because I called you that to your face 3 times and you never corrected me. Because seriously, who other than Dori would be like, are you sure that's not your name? Like, are you sure? Really, Dori, what were you thinking? Are you sure that's not your name? And I said, and you didn't correct me. And she goes, well, partly I don't really, mind all that much being called the wrong name. And, mostly you were really sweet and I didn't want to offend you. And I was like, oh dear God, now I look like an asshole. Like, I'd much rather if you were like, my name's Mega, thanks. And then we made a joke about it. It was awesome. It was good fun. And I could totally blame it on being starstruck. And everybody knows mispronouncing things is kind of what I do. Guys, how long did I call it G? How many months did I call it G? And everybody's like, Dori, it's Guy. And I was like, no. Guy is a French guy in Montreal. That is not like food. Guy. I think I called it G for a good 3 months before I finally accepted that it's not. But I will say that when I was at KetoCon, I totally admitted to the Guy guy that I called it G. And he laughed and he said, lots of people do. That's why I have this t-shirt that says, I am a genius. And it was spelt Guy, but genius. And we laughed and we laughed. And I told him my story of how, I didn't know enough about Guy. And I was really adverse to trying Guy. And now I've discovered that it's my new boyfriend. And I love it forever. And I love it enough to call it by its proper name now. Right? I'm sorry I miscalled you. But what I didn't realize about ghee before is everybody kept saying, it's clarified butter. It's clarified butter. It's clarified butter. And I was like, well, whatever. Butter. I eat butter. What do I need clarified butter for? That just makes it more butter. But what I didn't realize is that it takes all the dairy out of the butter. So what this actually is dairy-free butter. So there's no dairy in it. They've distilled all the dairy out, but it tastes like butter. So when I did my month of dairy-free, this literally saved my life because everything still could taste like butter and I didn't have to have the dairy. So, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's see what we got. So if I were to gather information for you to assist in determining what exactly I'm doing wrong, what information would you need? Okay, so this is a good question. Okay, so what information I need from you? Say, for example, you want to message me and you say, hey, Dori, I've hit a stall. This is what's going on for me. This is what information I need from you. So first thing I'm going to ask you is, do you track your food? And if you say, no, I don't track my food, I'm going to say, well, I need you to track your food. I need you to track at least a couple of weeks of food for me so that I can get an idea of what you're eating every day. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you is, do you use sweeteners and how frequently do you use sweeteners? Are you using them all day long? Are you only using them during your eating window? Because I do sadly have to say that any and all sweeteners, even the best keto approved sweeteners, may, and could, possibly will, cause a weight stall. So there are a few things to look at. I can give you the rundown of what the number one culprits usually are, because it's usually one of a few things. So I find if people aren't losing weight, number one, they're probably not eating enough fat. I was very resistant to adding the extra fat. Now, everybody says add fat, add fat, add fat. What that means is literally every single bite of everything you put in your mouth should have added fat to it. So if you're eating a salad, it should have olive oil, avocado oil, sour cream, cheese, something really good and fatty in there. For example, the other day I had a pork chop and I put a little bit of bacon fat on there and then a little bit of salsa and sour cream. So it has its extra fat. If I have Brussels sprouts, I add, bacon fat, olive oil, avocado oil, whatever, butter, whatever fats I'm in the mood for. So you might not be adding enough fat. I know I wasn't. Option number two, a lot of us learned that calorie restriction was the key, right? Calories in, calories out, restrict your calories. As long as you're burning more than you're taking in, you will lose weight. So unfortunately, a lot of us are calorie restricting. So that could be your problem as well. You might just not be eating enough food. Now, here's the problem. We set our body in a starvation mode when we don't feed it enough, and then it stores absolutely everything that's coming its way because your body goes, oh my God, I don't know when I'm going to get to eat again. I don't know when I'm going to have another meal again. I better tuck that away for later. So you could be eating not enough fat. You could be eating not enough food. Now, this is where it gets fun. It could be sweeteners. It could be not enough electrolytes and water. It could be that you are eating more carbs than you actually think you are. Lots of things have sneaky sugars and carbs. Things like Skinny Girl Sweetener. Those have about 10 grams of carbs per serving once you put that in your coffee. So things like that, when you think, you know what, I'm doing all the things right, my carbs are low, I don't understand, why I'm not losing weight, everyone around me is losing weight. And here's the real answer. You might not even be doing something wrong. You might be doing everything right, but your body might need to heal from the inside out before you lose weight. Losing weight is going to be one of the last things your body does in its strive to get healthy. So, the first thing you need to do is clear out your sugars and your carbs and clean out your body, and then it will start to process. It might not even have anything to do with the food you're putting in your body. It could just be stress related. So I kind of want to end off on that note. I want to see if there's any other quick questions. But I want to say, stress. Stress is a big, big killer when it comes to weight loss. Okay, Dori, how many times a week do you have treats with approved sweeteners? I find they add to my cravings. Doing carnivore for 7 days and she's off with the cravings. I'm going to say, how often do I have sweeteners? It kind of depends on the day. I never have any in my coffee anymore at all. Yesterday I had a half of a dropper of stevia sweet in my yogurt. So I would say if I have a yogurt or something like that, that's probably about when I would. I do stick to my sweeteners only in the evenings because then it's in my eating window and it's not breaking my fast. Honestly, I would say maybe 3 or 4 times a week I have something with a sweetener in it. What I do prefer, whenever I can, is I use my fresh stevia leaf. So we just bought a stevia plant, and you just grow the plant and you just pull the leaves off and just use them like that. I also dry the leaf and process it. And you can add that as opposed to any other sweetener. Now, it will still spike your blood sugar. I went around and around this one with Dr. Ken, like every way possible. I was like, do sweeteners break your stall? Yes, Dori. But what if they're keto sweeteners, Dr. Ken? Yes, Dori. But what if they're all natural keto sweeteners, Dr. Ken? Yes, Dori. They will still break your fast. But what if they're unprocessed, Dr. Ken? And he is like, Dori, if it tastes like sweet, it breaks your fast, Dori. And I was like, oh, but like anything that tastes like sweet? And he's like, yes, Dori. If it tastes like sweet, it breaks your fast, Dori. And I tried for you guys. I really tried to get Dr. Ken to say that there was like a sweetener that would not break your fast. He wasn't having it. So that's the bottom line. There is no sweetener that will break your fast. Oh, etherol is one of my favorites. I really like etherol. I really like the stevia. I really love the monk fruit blend. I find that xylitol tastes the most like actual sugar, but it's super, super bad for your pets. So if you have pets in your house, super keep a close eye on that one. Standing in the store looking at the ghee saying the same thing. Gee, that's so weird. That's ghee. That's like... G, I don't know. For months I did it. I was like, G, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. That, not butter stuff. Dr. Fung says that you can fast for days without starvation effect. And yes, I believe that maybe some people can. I don't long-term fast because of my bariatric surgery. I think for me it would be a little bit different because of the amount of nutrient I can take in and how long it is before I can take in again. But you know what? I'll never say never. You know what? Maybe one day down the road, around Christmas time, I was so sick I couldn't eat for 3 days and I didn't die. I didn't die. But that's also the 4 pounds that I feel like I should be able to re-lose. I lost some weight when I was sick and I couldn't eat, and then I gained it back. And now I feel like I should be losing that weight. I feel like I'm up. But really, chances are I wasn't ever supposed to lose that 4 pounds from not eating. I was probably never supposed to lose those 4 pounds. I'm probably not supposed to be under 150, which is where I'm sitting now. But at my lowest, after I was sick, I got down to 145. So now I feel like I should be 145. And the truth of it is, I'm probably not meant to be 145. I'm probably only supposed to be 150 pounds. And I'm really probably supposed to just be thankful and shut up. Okay, I usually drink 8 ounces of water with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of pink salt in the morning to get the electrolytes. Nope, that's good. That is good. That will definitely help you. Now, I don't really supplement my electrolytes, but if you do, and if you're looking for something that's an on-the-go, I love the Ultima. Dr. Ken says it's Ultima, but I don't think that's how you say Ultima. I don't know. I'm just going to say Ultima, because I think it honestly depends on how you pronounce it. If you would say Ultimate or Ultimate, I don't know. But Ultima, and these ones are really awesome, and you just add them right to your water. They have no artificial colors or anything in them. They use like all natural colors like beet juice and stuff like that for color. These kinds of things are good too, but again, you can just do your own supplement. I do make, if you guys look on my YouTube, there is a recipe for, oh, you're going to love this, you're going to love this, Unicorn Sparkle Ketorade. Unicorn Sparkle Ketorade. But basically all that it is it's Natural Calm supplement, which is your magnesium potassium supplement, Natural Calm and pink salt, and then you can add whatever flavor and color you want, and then we added sparkles to ours. So we made different flavors, we added coloring, we put sparkles in it so that it was fun for the girls. But that is definitely the best way. I love salt on my food, so I don't really supplement other than salting my food for my own self personally. But I've never been a supplement taker, so I don't know. If you guys lack that, I honestly really find that for myself, even with the small amount that I eat, because my diet is very well-rounded and because I eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables, a lot of green leafy vegetables, that I get pretty much everything I need. I don't feel like I'm lacking. So if I come to the point where I feel like, you know, I'm run down, I'm tired, I'm not getting all of the things I need from my food, then maybe I'll look at supplementing. Okay, guys, it's 3 o'clock. I am off to go pick up Jacob. It was amazing to hang out with you guys, and thanks for another awesome Taco Bout It Tuesday. And I will post my favorite taco recipe for you guys. Have an amazing day. And maybe we'll get together and maybe we'll even make a taco today. We'll see. I just don't know. Have a great day, guys.